We did not expect this Jimmy G situation to go the way it did.
No.
And although Ian Rappaport and many other media stooges were saying, there's a chance Jimmy G remains on San Francisco 49ers, and people like myself and others that have maybe played in the game or have been lucky enough to be in an NFL locker room have said on many occasions, that'd be weird. If you're trying to make this the Trey Lance regime, which they have been doing from the beginning. Remember, Shanahan's come out and said Trey Lance is our starter. Yep. George Kittle came on the show and was like, hey, Trey Lance is coming to tight end university. Love Jimmy G. We've loved Jimmy G, but this is Trey Lance's team now. Trey Lance's team now. Everybody that's ever been in the locker room goes, well, if it's Trey Lance's team, they're doing the right thing. They kept Jimmy G away from the team. He wasn't in meetings, wasn't in the locker room, was just kind of doing his own thing, biding his time so that he could not have any sway over the locker room that he was once the leader of, so much so that they went to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship just last year. So we always said that if Trey was to struggle or Trey is the starter, it's going to get fucking loud. Not only from the fans, if Jimmy G's there, but also in the locker room. There's a lot of guys that aren't ready to just rebuild and project for the future because who knows how long your career is going to be. If Trey Lance has a game like he had just the other night in preseason, where those balls are ugly, he was missing targets, it's going to be hard for George Kittle, who's one of the greatest teammates of all time, not to at least let a thought sink into his mind. There's a guy right fucking there that is ready to go, that has led us to the promised land before. We didn't win, but he has led us to the promised land, and we're going through this. We didn't know how that would work. We told Ian Rappaport as such yesterday after we went off the air. Jimmy G has agreed to a restructure of his contract with the San Francisco 49ers. $6.5 million guaranteed, $500,000 in roster bonuses, which equates to $27,777 per week if he's on the roster, which we shall assume he will be, and another $9 million in playing incentives, which we can assume the amount of time he's on the field, if he's a starter or not, if they're good or not, where they go to, playoffs, wild card weekend, and if he makes a Pro Bowl, that's another $9 million. So that's a total of potentially $16 million in salary next year for Jimmy G if he starts and they probably win a Super Bowl. It clears $18.6 million in cap space for the 49ers due to the signing bonus cash over cap. Let's move some shit around game that everybody's playing. But now that Jimmy G's back in the building.
That's tough.
Darius Butler, who's been in an NFL locker room, you said the same thing I said from the beginning. And we were telling people they were wrong. They were not. I think Ian Rappaport from the beginning is like, there's a chance he's still on the team. We don't know how that'll work. Jimmy G's going to be the starter of this team at some point. Don't you think, D-Bud? I don't see any other option here.
I mean, I was coming into it ready to kind of look at Trey Lance's year this year. It's almost like his junior year in college because he hasn't played a lot of football. And we saw, I don't want to overreact from preseason, but it didn't look like he was ready, comfortable in that offense. And like you said, this is a team that is built outside the quarterback for a championship. They were literally just in the NFC Championship. Jimmy G has won there consistently with a lot of guys that are in the locker room still.
Yeah, so 15 guys, I think, still from the Super Bowl team.
Yep.
It's tough.
That's a lot of motherfuckers.
Yeah. Sure. And it's not like he's going to be away now. Like, he'll be practicing, I'm assuming. So he'll be probably the scout team quarterback. So if he goes out there just dotting up the starters every week and then Trey Lance goes out and struggles for a couple weeks, how is that managed in the locker room? How is that handled? Now, we've been in a bunch of locker rooms, haven't been in San Fran's locker room, so I'm not going to speak for them. But it would be tough. It would be tough. It would be tough to watch that. And it's tough for Trey, man.
Natural human instinct. It is definitely tough for Trey mentally to get through it. But natural human instinct, if you're being directly hurt in a situation and you think, we've had the success with this, it's hard not to just do that. Now, I know that everybody says it's a team and you just do what you're told and everything. And I get that, but there's actual humans in there, not Madden video game characters in there. This isn't fantasy football. These people actually have to interact every single day. So it's Trey Lance's team. They're saying $16 million of salary potential for Jimmy G if he plays and they win. I just don't know how it works out. I honestly have no idea. Let's assume they got the right leadership, right? They can handle it. D-But, let's just, best case scenario, they can handle it.
They got paid the big bucks for a reason, Lynch and Shanahan, so they know this team better than we do. Now, they're not in their locker room. The players obviously got to handle that. But it's one thing to have external pressure for the quarterback, for a young quarterback like Trey. But like you said, when it's internal in that locker room, it's like, shh.
We're just telling you reality.
Yeah, this is real shit. Now, if Jimmy G's gone, it's like this is your Trey. That's our guy. We got to live with the ups and downs. But if he's there and you're seeing him every day, it's just a different dynamic. But like you said, let's hope they figure it out.
Yeah, because it's turning of the page whenever it's like, hey, Jimmy's not here anymore. It's Trey Lance. So although there is still a thought probably from the fans, coaches in that building and players in that building, like, we'd be much better off if Jimmy was our quarterback this year. Next year, like if Trey was the only quarterback on the roster, Nate Sudfeld, I think, was number 2, and Jimmy was not on the roster because they either cut him and Jimmy only got $2 million, I think, if they were to cut him as of today.
Yes.
That's all he would get. So a lot of people are saying, why do you take such a pay cut? He's a bad businessman. I don't know. He's probably only get $2 million. Always going to get paid somewhere else when salary caps are already basically at their max. I think this is actually a pretty good deal for Jimmy G to get back into a good team that's in contention. And they wouldn't have done this if they didn't think that he was potentially going to play or if they were going to trade him. If this was just going to become an easier trading tool. We'll talk to Michael Lombardi in about 7 minutes, who obviously has a lot of knowledge on this situation and with the NFL. Excited to hear his thoughts. But it's going to be natural, I think, just if he struggles at all, which all young quarterbacks are going to do anyways. But if he struggles with the things that Jimmy's good at, like throwing and deciphering what is supposed to happen,
right
leadership, right? Isn't Jimmy known as like a great leader? Like everybody fucking loves him in there. It's just like if Trey struggles with any of the things that Jimmy's great at, natural human reaction. I don't give a fuck how old you are, how much you're paid, what you do for a living. Natural reaction is just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why don't we just fucking go to that? We only got 15 games left. We only got 10 games left. We only got 9 games left. If we win them all, we can still go and do what we got to do. Let's assume Trey figures it out. Shanahan gets an offense where Trey Lance is going to thrive, and this will be a non-starter, non-issue. But goddamn, it's going to get loud if there's any stumbles at all.
You guys talked about it from the locker room side, but also the fan side. They watched him go, take him to the Super Bowl. They watched him take him to an NFC Championship last year. I mean, any sort of struggle from Trey, especially because he's
don't want to be negative. We don't like being negative. It's brand new free agent day. It's not players getting cut.
That's right. Any sort of struggle, especially because he's only in his second year. It's like, and they've seen guys like Rodgers sit for 3 years and other guys sit for 3 years and stuff like that. Like, hey, Jimmy's he's definitely gonna be a free agent after this year. They set his contract up where he's gonna be a free agent after this year. There's probably a lot of 49ers fans that are saying start Jimmy and let Trey sit for another year because that would benefit probably the team as a whole, not only this year, but going forward.
Jimmy G restructures his contract, $6.5 million guaranteed, $27,777 per game if he's on the roster goes to him. So another $500,000 throughout the entirety of the season. Then $9 million more in playtime and playing-based bonuses, which we'd assume if he becomes a starter, the percentage of plays that he plays on the offense, how the offense does when he's in there, if he makes a Pro Bowl, if the team goes to the wild card, divisional round, you get it. There's probably bonuses associated to all that. Can go up to $16 million if you add all that together. Clears $18.6 million somehow in cap space, of course, because nothing matters when it comes to that. AJ, whenever you saw this and heard this, were you as befuddled as I was and I think Darius was? Because from our standpoint, this just seems like a drama maker in the locker room, but they know better than us, I guess, AJ.
I mean, I don't think they had a whole other options. They didn't want to cut him, it seems like. But does this clear the path for him to potentially get traded during the season? If somebody goes down on another team, it opens it up a little bit, makes him a little easier to trade him now.
So my immediate thought was, they got it a smaller number so that they have to guarantee that on week 1, and then they're still going to try to shop him. But it sounds like all reactions are, no, he's back in the building, he's back in the meeting rooms, like they're bringing him back to bring him back, as opposed
no trade clause in there.
He would have to waive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, so he had to
keeps that.
clear that.
which I think he had in his last one too, right?
Yeah, he did.
So that just remained
Well,
in
he
there.
should. So he would just have to say, no, I'm not going there, or yes, I will go.
And he can't be tagged as well.
So he's definitely a free agent. His contract is up after this year. What if Jimmy goes out balls, and then what are they going to do then?
Yeah.
What do they do after another year of that? And Trey Lance goes into the preseason. There's a couple ducks 4 or 5 feet outside, and then they just keep running this back.
Like, what if they go to the NFC Championship again?
AJ, it's going to be tough to manage in that locker room, I think. Honestly.
Well, if they go to the NFC Championship game and Trey Lance stays in the lineup and doesn't get hurt and plays well, then they're fine, right?
No.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Jimmy coming in and playing. Or
Like, does the leash on Trey Lance, is it any shorter because Jimmy is there, and does he feel that? And how is Kyle addressing that with those two, I guess?
or the team, AJ. You've
Yeah,
been in there.
you're going to have to let the team know, hey, this is our plan, this is what we're doing. They all love Jimmy. It does seem like they get along. But yeah, like what's the future look like, I guess?
Trey misses 3 passes week 1. Yeah. Let's just say his first 3. Shit, ducks, wide, whatever. Maybe picked, deflected, picked. And Jimmy's just standing there. What, he has a headset on, I guess? Jimmy has a headset on, holding a clipboard. And everybody, how is the natural reaction not to be like, oh, sweet, you're fucking playing now.
Yeah.
Jimmy, like I don't know how you stop
How
that.
long? Yeah, how much? I guess it'll be funny to see early on in the season if Trey Lance struggles at all, which I hope he does not.
We hope
how
not.
much they have the camera on Jimmy on the sidelines. Oh, is Jimmy getting warmed up? Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
It's going to be all
gonna
of
be a
that.
thing for sure.
We're watching Mason with Kenny Pickett. Just in a preseason game that did not matter. And I believe Mason will be making the 53. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, as of right now, he is still on it.
What is your problem?
Nice.
Can we just get some reported facts? Come on. Let's get some
Congrats,
facts.
I'm
Mason.
saying there's 57 players left on the team. They got to get down to 53. Why are you going to carry 3 quarterbacks? I don't know.